not a sport to us. It's a lifestyle. Leave it in the ring. With your hosts, Campbell Montoya and Dave Duenas. Leave it in the ring. Boss. It's just not a sport to us. Leave it in the ring. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Leave it in the ring. It's just not a sport to us. It's a lifestyle.
I said I was going down to San Francisco to cover a Goldenboy event at the Fox Sports 1 and San Francisco at the Shoremen's Hall. And so I ended up being there Friday on the 18th. And man, I got to tell you, I had a blast. It was great. It's been a minute since I've covered any event. And just like I've always said, I do enjoy going down and watching the smaller cards than I do the bigger cards. But I got to tell you I still get more excited and kind of pumped and hyped about going to the gyms, just going to check those out. But I tell you what was interesting about this fight card, I was able to see some action, not just in the ring, but outside of the ring. So I was able to catch Shawn Porter and Ken Porter, right, who sat along the side of us. And we had our credentials, but we did have our we also had these seats that we were seated in the front row. And Ken and Shawn Porter, I got to first tell you, they're boxing heads. Those guys really do watch the sport. They like talking about the sport. We got to talk about the plantation, the Floyd Mayweather article. We got to talk about other things that were happening. One thing was about the testing. We also got into talking about Paulie Malignaggi. It was kind of brought up to me that Paulie Malignaggi was kind of running his mouth. He was kind of being the New Jersey Shore about them. And in that whole process, I forgot, and it just kind of went over my head, Gabriel, that Paulie was there to commentate for the Fox Sports 1. Then next you know it, the Porters are hitting me on the shoulder and they're saying, "Come with us, because we're gonna talk to this guy. We're gonna confront him." So if the video seems a little off to you in the beginning, I didn't get to catch the beginning of the conversation because it was like right when a fight that was happening. So the ring walk, the guys were like crossing me. I couldn't, pass it. It was like a stampede. So I stood on the other side of the street for a moment, but you could really kind of see the body gestures of these guys. Ken Porter, who's a character, man, gotta love the guy, automatically walks up and starts confronting Paulie Malignaggi, who wasn't commentating. He had just gotten off just for a few minutes to kind of wind down and say hi to the fans that were approaching him and kind of asking for pictures. But the Porters went up to him right away when he got up from his seat, and then it started there. And I was able to pick it up right when they did approach him and then kind of catch a little bit of the audio. But the Porters told me, like, hey, we want to come on the show. There's a lot more to it. And now that Paulie Malignaggi went on the Bunts show, I believe, right? It's
well, it was BBC 5, like BBC Live 5 radio. It's a boxing radio show.
It's a box, yeah. It's from the UK, right? And Paulie went back on there, and he kind of touched a little bit about the Porters approaching him, but he didn't go too much into it. He was kind of keeping his name clean about what he had been saying, but he was mentioning about the test. Like, hey. There should be testing. Why is there no testing happening? Ken, it was great talking to you guys at the fights. I had a great time sitting next to you guys and chopping it up, boxing. I'm not sure if you got a chance to watch Paulie Malignaggi's interview in the UK. It was on the BBC radio. And, he was touching a little bit about the confrontation. Well, the way he put it wasn't a confrontation yet. You guys didn't like some of the things he had to say about the testing, but he had kind of again touched a little bit about how there needs to be testing in the fights because of the new Shawn Porter. In so many words, that's how he put it. The new Shawn Porter. Can you tell me a little bit what happened that night? What happened that night? I mean, I know what happened. I was there with you guys, but let our listeners know what happened. You guys both got up and you walked over. You saw Paulie Malignaggi commentating for the Friday night fights on Fox Sports 1. What was the first thing that came out of your guys' mouth approaching Paulie Malignaggi?
Well, basically those type of things that are being said or have been said, they don't bother me. They don't affect us. It means absolutely nothing to us at all. But when you're talking about a guy that just won Commentator of the Year or whatever that award was he got, we were there. He is reaching out to a lot of people. He's talking to millions of people. If you're just talking about Joe Blow getting on the blog, that's different. But this guy's reaching out to millions of people. So I walked over to him and asked Shawn to come with me, and Shawn is not the person who likes confrontation, so he wasn't necessarily happy about me asking him to go, but he went, and we went over there. And, you know, I'm the type of person that likes to look somebody in the eyes and find out if they're telling me the truth. I really believe that I can read people very well. So I asked him, is this true? First thing came out of my mouth was, is this true? Is it true what you're saying about my son? Okay? I didn't want it to be anything less than understanding that you're talking about my son. Okay? And I want you to understand the things that you said are very serious to me. So I asked him, is it true what you said about my son? His response to that was not, what did I say, or what did you hear I said, or no, I didn't say anything. His response to that was, I just said he's strong. That was his response. Not a normal response of, well, what did you hear I said, or who told you I said something, or I didn't say anything. His response was, I just said he's strong. Okay, unfortunate Paulie Malignaggi, unfortunately for you, he's been strong since the day he was born. Okay? And if you check with your buddies out of New York like Danny Jacobs and ask Danny how many times Shawn put him on his ass when he was in the amateurs at 165, ask him if he's strong. Ask Sean Estrada if he's strong. He's beaten both of those guys numerous times. Ask Edwin Rodriguez, is he strong? Ask Demetrius Andrade, is he strong? He's been that way all of his entire life. When he was running over 250-pound defensive linemen, he was strong. He's always been that way. So this is what, you know, I asked him, and his response to me told me everything I needed to know. That, yes, he has said some negative things towards Shawn in that regard. I don't appreciate it. But even since then, he's come back and said a few more things. So I guess, you know, this is going to be one of those situations where he now has got to make a choice. Is he going to put himself make himself liable for a lawsuit? Because we have absolutely nothing to gain but everything to lose when sponsors look, you know, at these kind of situations. Someone saying things like this about us and, you know, questioning why we're successful at what we do. So now you're talking about taking away revenue from this young man, and my job is to protect him as his manager. So now, you know, you may be looking at liability suits, you know, because you're speaking irresponsibly. You don't have any proof of this. We've never had any problems. We don't have a problem. And, you know, this is the type of situation that people, you know, if you can accept the fact that you've been beaten, just let it go and not talk about it. But if you got to say negative things about someone because they've beaten you, you might want to check the history of the person that you're boxing. And as they say, the new Shawn Porter, there's absolutely nothing new about Shawn except the fact that this was a guy that put the time, the effort, got the information and the education to be able to lean his body down, take the weight down off of his body, and discipline himself not to allow his weight to balloon up in between fights. And when you put him in the ring with a guy that is not able to withstand what he's bringing, that guy is going to have a problem.
Do you believe at this point that it's messing with your money a bit, or potentially messing with your money, these accusations?
Well, I know it's definitely messing with my money because I got a phone call from the UK today, or messing with Shawn's money. I got a phone call from the UK today, you know, because, you know, we're fighting a guy from the UK. Some people from the UK contacted us about sponsoring and being involved with this fight. And the guy said, hey, I need you to be straight with me. I need you to, you know, be forthright, and I don't want to put myself into a bad situation. Is there something I should know about here with Shawn in regards to this? Absolutely not. But if someone is questioning that, then that's a problem. And then the next thing the guy said to me was, well, the people that we're involved with decided that they would rather step back and wait until after this fight. And that means that something that has been said, on his end, potentially his name was brought up in that situation. That's why I'm looking into a lawsuit.